took language back in 1984 to 86, back at the University of Hawaii. Back then, it was a hotbed of feisty Hawaiianness. Everybody wanted to be Hawaiian, sovereignty, kalahui, everything. And they started to use Hawaiian against you. And they made it as if you don't know your language, you don't know your history. And I took offense to that. There was a reason why I didn't know my language. Now, don't use that against me. And you just learned it yourself. Are you making yourself as if you're better? And then it starts to create a clique, a communal group, communal reinforcement. And to me, I just got turned off by it. Because then when I go home, well, if my parents don't speak it, are they a lesser Hawaiian? You know? Or my grandmother who couldn't speak it, is she lesser? But now this one person who's taking language up at UH, she knows her history. Well, it's interesting that these people who know that, who have learned that language, have gotten that history wrong. They still misinterpret the mahele, you know? So the language is not the key to understanding history, but language is a tool to understand history. I caution people to look at, when they look at Hawaiian language in the laws, it's not what you may think it is. And that's where the caution lies. Because sometimes we get caught up in political activism that we also tend to use the language as a tool of a political tool. There's different levels of language, no different than there are different levels of English. Our kupuna back then, the language was not homogeneous, it was multi-tiered. You had conversational, you had dialects, you had legal language, you had the law. I think just as we're looking at our history to make sure that we have to always try or attempt to be precise as much as we can, we also have to apply that with the language. Because the language is a tool of communication, it's a medium. You know, once we get that kaumaha taken off of our shoulders to try to prove we're Hawaiian, just be Hawaiian. You know, just take the time to understand our kupuna and let them tell us what happened. And I think once that language starts to be taken up, then we will learn the language and speak the language because we feel the connection to our kupuna. Right now, we're trying to connect, but at the same time, cut. We can't cut. We don't even know this tree yet. And sometimes we're cutting off our own branches. So that's where I caution the language.